Pop home yet?
No. Did you ask about the tickets?
What tickets?
You said your boss knew a guy who could get us tickets to the Yankee game. You didn't ask him?
Me and my boss had other things to talk about. I'm in trouble, Eugene. I'm in really big trouble.
Now this really shocked me. Because you know, Stan, he was the kind of guy who could talk himself out of any kind of trouble. What kind of trouble?
I got fired today.
Fired? You mean like for good?
You don't get fired temporarily, it's permanent. It's a lifetime firing.
What happened?
Well, it was on account of Andrew, the colored guy who sweeps up. Well, he was cleaning the stock room and he lays his broom against the side of a table to put some junk in the trash can. The broom slips. It knocks down a can of linseed oil over 3 brand new hats, $9 Stetsons. But it wasn't Andrew's fault, right? He didn't put the linseed oil there.
Right.
So Mr. Stroheim sees the hats. He goes crazy. He says they're gonna have to come out of Andrew's salary. That's $27. So Andrew starts to cry.
He cried?
42 years old. He's bawling all over the stockroom. The man hasn't got too much furniture upstairs anyway, but he's real sweet. He's always bringing me my coffee, telling me jokes. I never understand them, but I laugh anyway to make him feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I said to Mr. Stroheim, I didn't think that it was fair for Andrew to have to pay for the hats.
You said that to him?
Sure, why not? So he said, you want to pay for the hats, Big Mouth? And I said, no, I don't want to pay for the hats. Then he said, then mind your own business, Big Mouth.
Holy mackerel.
Mr. Stroheim is looking at me like machine gun bullets are coming out of his eyes. And then he calmly sends Andrew over to the factory to pick up 3 brand new hats. That's usually my job. And guess what he tells me to do?
What?
He tells me to sweep up. He says, for this week, I'm the cleaning man.
I can't believe it.
So you can see everyone in the place is watching me to see what I'm gonna do next. Even Andrew, he stopped crying and watched. So I grit my teeth and I pick up the broom. There's this big pile of dirt in the middle of the floor, right?
Right.
So I sweep it all over Mr. Stroheim's shoes. Andrew just finished shining them this morning, if you want to talk about irony.
I can't believe it. I'm dying. I'm actually dying.
So Mr. Stroheim pulls me into his back office. He closes the door and pulls down the blinds. He gives me this whole talk about how he was brought up in Germany to respect his superiors. That if he ever did such a thing like you do, they would beat me in their coffin until they carried me away dead.
That's perfect. You got it down perfect.
And I said, yeah, but we're not in Germany, are we, old buddy?
You said that to him?
No, to myself. I didn't want to go too far.
Okay, I was wondering.
So he says he's always thought I was a good boy and he wants to give me another chance. He wants a letter of apology. And if it's not on his desk by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I can consider myself fired.
I would have had a heart attack. What'd you do then?
I told him I wasn't going to apologize as long as Andrew had to pay for the hats. He said that was between him and Andrew, but he wanted the letter of apology. So I said goodnight, I walked out, I got my coat and hat and left. 10 minutes early.
I'm sweating. I swear to God, I'm sweating all over.
I don't know why I did it. It just wasn't fair. It made me so mad. I just guess if you give in when you're 18 and a half, you're going to give in for the rest of your life, right?
I suppose so. So what's the decision then? Are you going to write the letter?
No.
Positively?
Positively. Except I'm going to have to ask Pop. I know we need the money, but he told me once you always have to do what's right in this world and stick with your principles.
What if he thinks you're wrong? What if he tells you to write the letter?
He's not. He's going to leave it up to me. I know it.
Well, what if he says, write the letter?
That's not something we'll know until after dinner, is it?
All in all, it was shaping up to be one heck of a dinner. I'll say this, though. I always had this two-way thing with my brother, right? Either I worship the ground.
Sure, what kind of thing?
Well, you know, when Pop comes home tired, he's usually not interested in what me and Eugene has to say. It's different with you, though.
Really?
Yeah, you've never noticed it before?
Not really.
Okay, well, this might sound odd, but at dinner tonight, Do you think you could steer the conversation in a certain direction?
What kind of direction?
Just about how you admire people who stand up for their principles?
What kind of people?
Any people. Principles is the most important word. If you could work it in 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times?
It'll be easy. I'll mention someone like Abraham Lincoln. Then you'll say, now there's a man who really stood up for his principles.
Listen, Stanley, I've got my own things to bring up, and I don't want to get into a discussion about Abraham Lincoln.
Not his whole life, just his principles.
Why would I do such a stupid thing?
Because as of tomorrow, I'm unemployed unless somebody besides me says something about sticking up for your principles.
What happened? Did you get fired?
I will be, unless I write Kaiser Wilhelm a letter of apology. It's up to my old man, deciding to do whatever he tells me.
Well, when are you going to ask him?
Tonight, right after dinner.
Tonight? Does it gotta be tonight?
Yeah, I have to give my answer to Mr. Stroheim in the morning.
And can't you ask your father in the morning?
He gets up at 5:30. My mother, she lines up his shoes the night before. He can't make decisions at 5:30. What's wrong, Nora?
At least your father is alive and around the house to make decisions. You don't know when you're well off, Stanley. Sometimes you get me sick.
Chapter 7. The infamous dinner. Now, it started out like a murder mystery in Glenheim Castle. Nobody said a word, but everybody looked suspicious. It was so quiet, you could hear the liquor sliding down.
Not more important, it's just coming up sooner.
Hitler's ought to moved into Austria. In a couple of months, the whole world's going to be in it. What's the matter with this radio?
Someone's been messing around with it, haven't they, Eugene?
Why, Eugene? Pop was listening to President Roosevelt last night.
You weren't listening to the ball game this afternoon?
I was talking about Poland.
I don't want anyone touching this radio anymore, you understand? Who's going to get blamed for the war in Europe?
Eugene, bring in the knife with the boss.
Do you really think there'll be a war, Pop? In America, too?
Not us, maybe, but friends, relatives. If you're Jewish, you got someone suffering somewhere in the world.
Ida Kaczynski's family just got out of Poland last month. The story she tells you don't even want to hear.
How many relatives do we have in Europe?
Enough. Uncles, cousins. I have a great aunt. Your father has nephews.
I have a cousin Sholem. His whole family.
Dave had relatives in Warsaw. That's where his mother was born.
What would they do if they came to America?
Who?
You know, your nephews, mom's cousins, and uncles. Would we take them in?
What are you worrying about that for? Go upstairs and work on your speech.
What speech?
I think I asked Mr. Stroheim for a raise tomorrow.
Pop, can I talk to you later after you've rested and read your paper?
Lou Gehrig's doing well this season. LaRoupe and Luke at 302.
Is that your paper? How many times have I told you not to read it until your father is finished?
I didn't break it. You know, the print doesn't come off if I take a quick look at it.
Don't be fresh to your mother. Upstairs.
Pop,
Everybody.
I'll come down later, okay?
You understand? I need to talk to you anyway.
You're a real pest, you know that?
Yeah, I got a list going upstairs. You want to add your name to it?
What are you reading that paper for? There's nothing
Stop
in
that. I'm trying to think.
I'm glad I don't have your problems.
How would you like official American League Baseball in your mouth?
Stan, I gotta talk to you. I mean, like a really big, important, serious talk.
Everyone in this house has to talk with somebody. Take a number off the wall and wait your turn.
Stan, it's about this girl. See, I can't tell you her name. She's gorgeous. We went in the street together. She was there, and we were kissing real hard and rubbing up against each other. And there was this tremendous build-up, like at the end of the 39 steps. Then there was an explosion, like a dam broke, and everything rushed out to sea. And it was the greatest feeling I ever had in my entire life. And when I woke up, I was
All wet?
yeah, how'd you know?
It was a wet dream. You had a wet dream. I have them all the time.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with you if it happens.
You never had one before?
I'm sure, but I probably just slept through it.
Well, didn't you ever try to do it by yourself?
What? How do you mean?
You know, didn't you ever try to do it with yourself?
No,
baloney. I've heard you. You diddle 3 or 4 times a week.
You're crazy. You're crazy. What do you mean, diddle?
You know, masturbate.
I might hear you.
There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone does it, especially at our age. It's natural.
You know guys who do it?
Every guy I know does it, except Pascal Fleischman, the fat kid. He does it to other guys.
Wow. Can't believe I'm having this conversation.
You can't grow up without doing it. Your voice won't change.
Where do you get all this stuff from? Is this in a medical book or something?
It's puberty.
It's what?
Puberty. Don't you ever read books?
Yeah, The Citadel by A.J. Cronin. He never mentioned puberty.
Even our Pop did.
Pop?
Our Pop?
Stanley, you know what? I think you're full of shit.
Hey! Don't you use that word with me. You're just a kid. Who do you think you are?
What, you're allowed to say puberty and I'm not allowed to say shit?
It's a scientific word. Shit is for guys who hang around the beach.
Come on. Stan, what do you expect me to say when you tell me Pop whacks off?
I don't mean he still does it, because he's married now. But when he was a kid, 14 or 15, the whole world whacks off.
Even President Roosevelt?
Rich kids are the worst. They whack off from morning till night. They go to college, they sit around in the dorm rooms, drinking beer and whacking off.
You know, Stanley, this just might be the most important information you ever taught me. What about girls?
5 times as much as boys.
5 times as much? Is that an actual figure?
Wow.
Where do you get all this stuff from?
You'll learn it. It's passed down from generation to generation. It's how our culture spreads.
So much. You know, some of them don't even say hi to you in the hallway and they're home all night whacking off.
Well, they're humans too. They have the same needs and desires.
Then why is it so hard to touch the boobs?
Well, if you were a girl, would you like some guy jumping at you and grabbing your boobs?
If I had boobs, I would love to touch them.
I've got other things to worry about.
No, I'll bet Nora doesn't do it.
Boy, could I win some money from you. You think she's in the bathroom 7 times a day just taking showers?
She was in the bathroom?
I knew 2 girls who used to do it in English class. I saw them doing it during the final exam. One of them got a 98 on the paper. She the one you were thinking about last night?
Nah, it was one of the beach girls.
It was Nora, wasn't it? I see what's going on here. I know why you dropped your napkin 12 times at dinner tonight.
I don't know what it is, Stanley. She drives me crazy. I think I'm in love with her.
Well, forget it. She's your cousin.
What's wrong with being in love with your cousin?
You can't be in love with your cousin. It's against the laws of nature. I mean, if she was your stepsister, it'd be dirty, but it'd be okay. Let me give you a piece of advice. When you're going through puberty, don't start with anyone in your own house.
Wait up. President Roosevelt married his cousin.
Maybe she was his 2nd or 3rd cousin. But you can't marry your 1st cousin. You'll get babies with 9 heads. But I wish Pop would get home. I have to talk to him tonight.
I still would love to see you naked. You know, just once. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, I do it all the time.
What? You've seen Nora naked?
Lots of times. I fix the lock on the bathroom door so I can open it up without her noticing.
I can't believe it. What a pig! Tell me what she looked like.
All I can tell you is that I was pretty miserable. She was my 1st cousin.
That was the night I discovered that lust and guilt were very closely related. Well, I'm gonna go wash up.
Have a good time.
I don't do that.
I'm sorry, I